Hello everyone. Like anybody here like who would like to recap like whatever we learned till now? Like we have already 4 days are over, and what has been your understanding about the process? What is the background work that we do? And if we talk about the research, like what are the different methods we follow? Perfect. So we did BMC. BMC was what? Basically business model canvas, where we talked about, where we tried to understood why was the business doing that? What was the motive behind that? And if they were to go ahead and like work on that business, so what are the different areas or the focus area that they would have to take into consideration, and then like do deep thinking, understand, and then only they should go ahead and like take that initiative or like work on that initiative. So that was BMC was first thing. Thank you, Pratap. Suresh, Ashi, yes, product vision was the second one. So once we understood like why we were doing something, we tried to define the product vision. Okay, and that was the initial stage, the first stage. Perfect. So Keshika, we learned about BMC, getting product vision, competitive analysis, interview, create service. Very nice, Pradeep. Good. Dhirender, we finished this survey in last class. Very nice. So these are different things that we learned. So basically, when we started, we learned about why the business was interested in working on that product. That was the first thing. So once the download was given to you, as like you were working as a UX designer and you were given some download that yes, business wants to work on this, then what you did, you started understanding the doing the research and also understanding the user. Okay, so in understanding that, what you did first, you made that business model canvas wherein you try to understand like the everything about the business, and then you, while understanding about the users, you started doing interviews and surveys. First was the interview, I think. Yeah, interview we did, and in the interview we drafted a script. We used that script to ask different questions from the users, and like we got the answers. And then when doing these kind of interviews, you could either record that in video format or in audio format, depending upon like where you are, who is the user, how willing he is to get recorded, like the video recording and so on. So basic different situations, you can choose the right medium. So once you have done the recording, parallelly what you also do is conduct surveys, because you can't go out and like interview a lot of people, right? There's a limitation, like getting in touch with users, then talking to them, then fixing the time, then going and conducting the interview. That takes a lot of time, and also finding the right people who are willing to come and give the interviews is not easy. So there are challenges associated with that. So that's why like we don't interview people in big number. The small numbers are like basically depends upon again the complexity of the project. So you interview. Whenever you're interviewing, what you need to do is like basically observe the behavior, observe the feelings, like how his reactions and everything, like when he's talking and all. So that also gives you a good insights. So that is what we do in the interview. And then we use the same questions. Working on any product, we have some questions, and for the answers of those questions we do research, right? So we use the same question or convert that in questions in the form of surveys, and then we circulate that surveys to like big number, like large group of people. Okay, so once you circulate the survey, you get certain response, and then later on what you do is, depending upon the type of survey you have created, you could get the response in the form of qualitative or quantitative, in the form of numbers, or like just like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. So we conducted survey also. I explained like how to craft that. And then after that, I just gave you homework about understanding or creating that comparative analysis and comparative analysis. So today we will understand that. I'll just recap like what we did. So this was the business model canvas that I designed for the Academy website. I hope everyone is clear about this, like how to design this. Every product, the treatment of this BMC will be different for different products. So some of the initiative might not have the revenue section. It's fine. All businesses are not made to generate just revenue. There are like other motives also behind that. Okay, so you don't have to like define all the focus areas. Even if you are able to define like 6, 7, is fine. Like you can initiate the project if you are very confident about your project. Okay, we defined the vision statement. Then we understood like the UX process. We talked about like how the process evolved from like the one-person team to like a multi-facet team or multi-person team. Okay, and how the designers were given later on, like they given the importance, and then how the entire thing shifted to the users and it became user experience design process. So we learned about that, and this was the process that we discussed. The first was understanding problem statement and doing the research, right? And in this we understood about these things, like we did alignment workshop. We also did a quantitative and qualitative analysis and research. today morning I circulated this survey, right? So what I had done was like initially I designed that script for the interview. So I used the same script. So basically all the questions that I had in the same script, converted that into survey. Basically, when we ask survey, so the number of questions can vary 8 to 10 to 15 depending upon like what you're trying to get, from the users, and also depending upon the complexity of the project. Okay, but whenever you're trying to create this survey, just try to keep this in mind that the user should be able to understand like what you're trying to write or what you're trying to get from the user. So keep it very simple, keep it very simple language, clean language. Okay, so in this case, like if you'll see, I've kept the language very simple. Even like one who has like basic understanding of English, he will be able to understand what I'm working on and what I'm trying to do. And here my motive was understanding whether the user is willing to learn online, whether they are very familiar with online tools like Zoom or WebEx, XYZ, other tools. And also along with that, are they willing to pay certain fees to attend these kind of classes? So that was my intention. And by circulating this survey or creating and circulating the surveys, I was able to get the answers. So though like we had 100 plus people in the group, only 21 people responded. Okay, so same will happen like when you're working in the real world. If you have like a pool of, let's say, 300 people, and if you circulate that, so people will not respond immediately. You'll have to push them, you'll have to get back to them, you'll have to ask them to respond and so on. So you'll have to really follow them to get the response. So I circulated this survey. So there are like a lot of questions and a lot of responses that I got, but I just tried to put like something, and basis this answers or this response, you can analyze what's happening. So basically, would you like to pursue your career in design? Like 100% said yes, we want to, right? So means like people are interested in like learning design. Okay, and that too, like I'm talking about the pool of the users that I had. So like you, everyone in the team. Now, other was like, what's your preferred mode of learning? So people said like they're okay with both. Okay, offline, the response that I got is like offline is negligible. There's nothing. It's all about like online and mix of both online and offline, right? Suppose I come with an online course, you will be willing to pay minimal amount. They said yes, ready to pay, and also said would need a trial class. Some said, and others said no, I don't pay. Right? Similarly, if I charge 1,000 for 16 to 200 hours bootcamp course being taught by a professional, so what will happen? Some people said like, yes, reasonable price. So 1,000 is good price for that. Nobody said no. And the third is like, should charge more than that. Okay. So this is the response, and this is that. And this is just like circulating with you. But if I'm working in the real world, I'll try to like, get the real users and try to do research, understand that, and like try to get this response from large group of people. And basis that I can then make the calculation and define my next steps. Okay, so you see like how important is a survey. And whenever I conduct like primarily two kinds. One, in person, or like wherein I can talk and observe. So that was the interview. Okay, so because you learn a lot by observing the people. And the second is the survey. So basically you send this and then you get the response. Fine. Also, this was the interview script that I prepared. I shared with everyone. So basically the interview should be very simple. You should first introduce yourself and then try to create a good relationship with the, with the participant. And once you have established that good relationship, you can then start asking questions. And when asking the question, it has to be very simply, the flow should be very simple. And at the end, once you have got the answer, like ask the questions, you thank him. And even if you try to give him some kind of gifts or giving time for this interview. So that's what I generally do. And then we also conducted few interviews, live interviews in this session, wherein I talked to like two participants. One was Naveen and the other was Pooja. So we talked and we interviewed, and in the live session, I tried to get the insights and the answers from them. Okay, I hope everything is clear till now, like what we have done till now. Any questions, any confusion? So ask me now, because I'll move forward and I'll talk about other things then. Anybody, any question?
Yeah, man, it's very good to go.
And one more thing, I will select 5 participants. Okay, so whoever is able to create the best prototype, I'll personally like help them build their portfolio. If you are serious and if you really want to like you grow, do participate seriously in these sessions, because I'll select 5 people who are really doing good in this workshop. They will help them create the prototype and also help them then define the case study and also then the UX portfolio. So if you're serious, if you want to like take my help in defining or designing the portfolio, so please take this workshop seriously. Okay, so everything is okay till now? Perfect. आगे चलते हैं. In my previous session, what I did was I gave you some homework. Okay, So I gave you homework about doing your competitive analysis and also comparative analysis. So basically, when you're doing this competitive analysis, you also do comparative about the features and also what. So understanding competitive analysis is very important if you really want to work as a UX designer and also later on grow as a product owner or product designer. What is competitive analysis? So it's basically the process of evaluating competitors' company. So basically, whenever you plan to like define or create certain product, so what you generally do is you try to understand like who are the other big players or the similar kind of players in the market, right? So you try to understand who are the other people who are selling same kind of product or services. So by understanding what they are trying to sell and what is the structure of their company, what is the different price point at which they are selling their product. So everything coming together, and also like what are the different strategies they are using for marketing. So you try to understand that, and that is basically in simple words called as competitive analysis. Let's take the example of a real world wherein like we as a consumer or the user, suppose like if I have to buy a MacBook Pro or a computer, TV. So what we do a lot of research, right? We check what are the price points, what are the features, what is the warranty, then and so on. So we try to do a lot of comparison before buying stuff. So similarly, when we are creating as a UX designer, when we are working on a real product, we do this similar kind of competitive analysis. We try to understand like who are the other players in the market, what are the features that users are liking, and what are the features that they don't like, and also try to check the reviews of those companies, their products, and so on. Okay, this is very important and helpful because that gives you an insight of what's working and not working, and basis that you can then decide and define your strategies. Okay. So when doing the competitive analysis, what are important points? One is like picking the right competitors. You need to understand कि वो competitor कौन से like कौन से competitor को choose करें, select करें, right? So understanding and picking the right competitors is very important. And उसमें ये देखना है कि what is the aspect, like what are the key things that you need to compare? What are the different aspects that you need to compare with? So वो समझना जरूरी है, like what do you need to understand? And also where do you need to look at? So suppose I have to look at the features of the product. So where should I look at? Should I look at the brochure? Should I look at the product feature page, or where else? So you need to understand like where to go and how to find those features and other important data. We'll see that like what are the important data that we try to read about, learn about when doing this competitive analysis. I hope this is clear till now. Any questions you can ask? अभी तक what we understood is like what is competitive analysis. It's very clear, like competition को analyze करना.
Yeah, Manpreet. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Manpreet. I thought to join again. Yep. Manpreet, when doing this competitive analysis, see, as I said, I undergone a few other courses in product management. Okay, so should I limit only with the features? Because last time when we did, you said only to compare the features, and that's a really good idea.
Yeah, earlier I was just talking about the features because I wanted you to focus on the UX part, right? So, but as a product owner, like you need to do a lot of things. So I'll talk about those things in the next slides. When you're really working on the product and then you're doing this competitive analysis, you focus on the other areas also, like who are the founders, how much investment they have got, and where do they operate, what are the geographies, so do they have only one product or there are other products also. So there are a lot of things that we do, but since you are all starting into this, thought of not putting those things together. But what I've done is like in this session I've brought those together so that you at least have an understanding of like what other information goes into this, right? So I'll talk about those things also. But earlier, since wanted you to work on that product and then the features, so that's why I talked about just doing the comparative analysis, like focusing more on the comparison of the product features.
Okay, awesome. Yeah? Okay, man, I got it. Thank you, man.
Perfect.
And my second question is I should choose my industry first, and then based on that industry only, I can choose my competitors, right? Because sometimes there are competitors in certain feature of my product, and in some other feature they are not competing with me. Okay, but in some companies, it happens. So I can choose the competitors even based on my features, right? Am I right?
Yes, you can do that. Suppose you are working on an application wherein like you have like got 10 features, and out of that, one is CRM. Suppose, for example, right? And then what will happen is like you will try and explore like who are the other players in the market who are offering just the CRM features, CRM software. And then you'll just try to see like, okay, what they're doing and what they are best at and where do you lack, and then try to like get inspired from like CRM and then improve your product.
Okay. Thank you, man. Yeah, I was having this doubt. Thanks.
Yeah. No, good question. So yeah, so we understood competitive analysis, and it's very simple. Like we do that every day. Like whenever we are buying a phone, we are buying like anything, like any product. So we all do this kind of analysis. Okay, when we look at from the consumer point, not from at the product point. But here, when you're working as a UX designer, you'll have to focus from the product point and also like from the business side and also the designer side. Okay, so how does it help? It helps and to identify like where is the gap, where is the opportunity, and like where you can and how you can fill that opportunity. Right. So because once you're doing the analysis, the competitive analysis, you'll see like, okay, so this competitor is offering this feature, this is offering this feature, but they're charging X amount of money. But my product, I see that I can offer that the same feature, but at a half price or X something else, or they are not operating in this geography. So why not I go and capture that, and that gap and like offer my product in that geography. So there are a lot of things that you learn by doing this competitive analysis. Okay, you learn about the marketing trends, like what is the demand, what is people looking for, and what the people are not looking for, and basis that you can design the course of your or the roadmap of your product, and what features should we use, should we focus on, and what benefits do we promote, like what are the features that we should be offering. Like suppose during the research you found out that people are looking for like 20 different things, but you can't like create everything. So what should be how should you define the roadmap, and what are the features that you should roll out first, right? So this competitive analysis helps a lot in defining all those things. And how does our audience feel? Where is our audience being let down? And how can we stand apart from the competitors? So you are able to understand and then identify like what your USP should be. And this competitive analysis and comparative analysis along with that really helps you do that. Okay. And then when doing this analysis, you focus on different things. One, what are the similarities of your product with the other products? What is the differences between what you are trying to offer and what others are offering? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And how can you offer, the product and how the other people are offering? Also understanding the audiences and the users. Then features, benefits. What is the value that you will be giving, and how will that value creation differentiate you from the other players? Price points, differentiators, market positions. So you are able to understand everything by doing this competitive analysis. Got it? Simple. And then when you're actually creating the format or actually creating the design or the analysis, these are how you do, so this is what you do. So basically you take the competitors can be like as Naveen said, like feature wise or company wise or product wise. So you can select the competitors, and then you can start defining the different elements or different points in relation to the competitors. So basically some could be company specific, other could be like how you are targeting the users, then product specific, then marketing specific, that's the positioning. So these are different things that needs to be considered when doing the competitive analysis. Okay, I'll share this template. If you'll Google, you'll find n number of templates, so you can use any template. So this is one of them, and if you see like I think this is a good one. So let me open this and show you. Just a minute.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So I am saying, what if my product is like very new and it has no competitors in the market?
No, I think that will never be a case. Very rarely, you'll have a competitor in one form or the other, because market is saturated and there are a lot of products. But in case you don't have, then you won't be doing this competitive analysis, right? Then you will focus on other things like understanding the needs of the users, understanding their frustrations, their problems, and so on, and then defining your solution. And then once you have defined a solution, once you have rolled that solution in the market, you will then start again do the research and try to learn from the user behavior and other aspects. I've seen that you come up with any idea, and if you'll do the research, there will be a product for that particular idea. So there is only what differs is the execution, like how you're executing. If you talk about anything, like whether it's a digital product, physical product, all is there. So now this is the template. So I'll share this template with everyone. Then you can use this template to define the analysis. Okay. So here what we see is like competitors can be depending upon your product. It can be like 1, 2, 5, 10 depending upon the product, right? So here what we try to do is like we define the research on 4 groups of focus areas. One is the company, the product, customers, and marketing. So in the company, we try to find out like, okay, when was this found? How many years they have been into this operation? Who are the founders? Who are the CEO? Key people involved in that? How many employees do they have? It's a small size key team. It's a big, or they have a large number of people. Okay. So, and along with that, like where are they located, where are their offices, how much money they have raised, like what is the investment that they have, funding, and then how much money are they generating, and year on year growth. And this all you can easily get in the About Us page, press releases, and other things. Like you can find this information. Once you have this information about the company, their founders, the investments, the funding, and who are the customers, where they're operating, you start focusing on the other aspect. That's the core one, and that's basically the product. And when we talk about the product, it's basically talks about the feature. And this is what I asked you to do, basically the homework that I gave you, and this is called as the competitive analysis, wherein like, are you planning to differentiate yourself from the competitors, feature 2, feature 3, feature 4, feature 5, depending upon like the components, sub-components of your product. And then once you have defined that, once you have figured out like, okay, so this is how I'm planning or how I can achieve a difference in the market, you then start defining other things by understanding how the other competitors are selling, at what price point, really help you like define at what price you can sell your product. So that's basically the pricing. The other thing, like, the discounts, if you can, new in the market, if you have to like give a discount. So what is the maximum discount that you can give so that still you're profitable? And then what should be the model? Are you going to like give it for free or premium model, freemium model? What kind of subscription plan would you be like, opting for? So those things you define in this product. So that's basically what Naveen was talking about, all the product management part. So basically, one, defining like what features will go into the product, and then defining the price point, and also then defining how you plan to sell that product. And along with that, technology also, right? All good till here? So once you have understood the product, you get into the customers. So basically, whom would you be selling your product? So when I talk about this, so you try to understand what is the percentage share of each competitor. Okay, like competitor 1 might be having 15% of the market share, 2 might be having like 30%, 3 might be having 40%, and then you calculate and see like how are they able to achieve that share, and like what are the initiatives or the different steps that they're taking to like maintain that share. And then what are the reviews, like what are the people talking about? Are they happy with the product, or happy with like 70% of the product but not happy with like 2 or 3 features? Like what are those features? You try to understand that. And also like you understand like what are the negative comments, like you try to go and check the reviews on different platforms, and also try to do the interviews. Like if you're able to like find people who are using the competitor's product, you try and like do the interview, so those things. And pros and cons of each competitor. And also like where do they exist, like how much they're investing in existence and presence, online presence, and so on. So this is about the customers. And last but not the least is the marketing part, like how much effort they are putting to promote their product, and how much sales they're generating from there, how much revenue are they able to get from each platform. So those things you try to get in this by doing the marketing analysis. So SEO is like all the online marketing, social media is again only online marketing, then advertising is basically all the paid advertising that you do for this, and then partnership, customer acquisition, how you are actually getting the customers, new customers, and maintaining the customers, how you are building the relationship with the customers. And then also how is your customer service, pre-sales, after sales, and everything including this. Okay, so that is basically how your customer experience is. So you do all this and then try to get, so basically you do the research and then try to get information about all these things. So basically company, product, customers, and then the marketing, right? I hope it's okay till now. See, these are like very senior people uses this, right? But I just wanted you to know, because before getting to the industry, this will help you. This will help you differentiate yourself from the others, because others will come just with the thought of like what user experience is, but they will not have an understanding of like what actually makes a product successful. And once you have an understanding of like how the business really works, how much investment they put, how much the research they put to like create the product, like the product people, so they really put a lot of efforts to define like what should be the roadmap and what new features should be added in the product to make it valuable for the user. So there are a lot of work that is required, and this competitive analysis and then SWOT analysis, these things really helps you stand out from the competitors. So that's why I'm teaching this. Otherwise, if you don't learn this, then it's also is fine. You can be a good UX person, UX designer, but understanding this makes you far better than the other designers. Okay, I hope. And now that you're getting into this product, you will understand the value of competitive analysis, SWOT analysis, and all those things. As a designer, like if you have an understanding of these things, this will really help you evolve as a designer. And then later on, because gradually what will happen is you will become product owner, product manager, right? So basically, you won't stay as a UX designer throughout your life, because you need to grow professionally and vertically. So once you'll start as a junior designer, UX designer, then you'll grow as a senior, then lead, then head. Then after that, you'll become a product VP or something like product. Having an understanding of everything, not just the design, but also the business, will separate you, will give you energy over the other people. And so I talked about the competitive analysis. Now this is another analysis. So basically we are working on a product, and so we do the analysis of like where do we stand as a company and for a product. So basically when we're doing this SWOT analysis, it could be about the company also, it could be about the product also. By using this analysis, we try to understand like what are our real strengths, where do we stand out at the best, and what are our weakness, and along with that, what are the opportunities and what are the threats. Now after doing all the competitive analysis, you can figure out like, okay, so I see that the company XYZ or competitor 1, 2, 3, they are good in this, but I see that I am better than those competitors in these points, right? So that is your strength. You are able to define this strength only once you have understood what's happening in the market, or who are the competitors, what they're offering. So understanding our own strength is very important from the company point and also from the product point. Once you are done with the research, you also get to know like what are your weakness, where do you lack, whether it's the technology part, whether it's the experience part, or the marketing aspect, marketing side. You understand that after doing all the competitive analysis. Strength is what? Things your company does well, qualities that separate you from other competitors, internal resources such as skilled knowledge, staff. This is also a very key important point. Okay, and tangible assets such as intellectual property, capital proprietary technology, etc., etc. So this is basically where do you stand and where are you strong at. The next is the weakness. Things your company lacks, things your competitors do better than you, resource limitation, and unclear unique selling proposition. You see now like how the story is building together. We did this BMC, and then we did competitive analysis, and then we are doing the SWOT analysis. Well, like after we have done all these things, now it becomes so easy for us to understand like where we are good at and where we are not good. Okay, then opportunities is basically undeserved markets for specific products. So like I give the example that if the competitors are not operating in geography X, so you can leverage that and you can introduce your product in that geography and create market for yourself. By doing this research, you can figure out, you can know like where you can operate or like what is best that you can do, and then also emerging needs for your products or services, press media coverage of your. So basically all the opportunities, how you can promote your product, or where you can promote your product, or what feature will make you stand out from the others. So all the opportunities comes here, and then threats is basically who are the other competitors. And if you see that while doing your research, that competitor third 3 is doing very good, and in like 2 years he made a lot of progress. That means like they are spending a lot of resources, a lot of time and energy to define their product and reach more people. So you need to be very aware of that and define your strategy accordingly. Who are the emerging competitors? You learn during this process, and also like what are the other environmental changes that's happening. If you have got any negative reviews, so how do you tackle that? How do you remove that reviews? Because this world is the world of social media, and if people are not happy with your product, they'll go online, they'll talk bad about you. So how do you tackle that? How do you handle your customer care and then also the online social media team to like tackle these things? Then also changing customer attitudes towards your company. Now suppose some customers were using your product, but now they are leaving your company, so there must be some reason, something bad that happened with them, so bad experience that they had. So you need to understand those things, and this SWOT analysis helps you do that. Okay, so everything good till now? Any questions? Cool. Threats is because threats is external and weakness is internal. So weakness is basically weakness within the organization, be it the company, team, the product lacks innovation, features, and so on. Threat is basically external, comes from the competitors. Neha, I will explain everything. What I am doing is, since I taught you today competitive analysis, I'll teach 2 more things. In the next class, I will walk you through all the real artifacts. So I'll design that. Okay, Neha? Cool. Thank you. So till now, what we have done is we have completed our research, and in the research, we worked on 4 things. So interview, survey, competitive analysis, and then the SWOT analysis. There are other things also that we work on, but fine, like these 3-4 things is like more than good for us. Okay, and then while reading and learning and exploring and searching online, you can read more about it, but knowing the core, knowing the stages is important, and knowing the process is important. And that's what my motive in this session is, that you should have an understanding of how everything goes, what is the journey of a product, how it starts with the basic concept, and then the brief, and then all the different models are created, then research, and then understand like why you're creating the product, and so on. Okay, so till now we understood why we are doing it, what we should do to separate, what should be our USP. Okay, so till now we have understood that, and we have done all the homework, all the research, and not just like one kind of research, but use different methods to like get a lot of insights. Fine. Now the second stage is basically where we define everything. Till it was all exploration. We're all trying to discover like what is happening, user kaun hai, why is the business investing money, and what is the market, who are the competitors. So next is basically giving meaning to all the efforts that we have put now, and that is basically the define stage. Okay, so during the research, what we do is like we create a lot of notes, we record videos, we record audio, we read a lot of literature, and we create rough notes. So once we are done with this part, the first part, so we can't use those like rough notes and refer to those videos again and again to understand like what is happening. And also you can't circulate these rough notes and videos with everyone in your team. So what do? So we then work as a team and then try to create different literatures or artifacts. And these are basically all derived from the research that we did and from the insights that we derived from that research. Okay. So as we see the 2 points, like it's hard to dig through hundreds of pages of notes every time you need to make a design decision. So you can't refer to this notes, these videos and all. And even if you had the time to do so, it isn't entirely obvious how these notes should inform your thinking. Basically, how do you make sense of them and prioritize? So you can't refer to this rough note. So you need to create something that is meaningful for the team. And for that, we create a lot of different stuff, lot of different things. And here what we do is we define these things. So basically, that's why when I was talking about that BMC, I told that you will have to rework on your BMC. You will have to recreate or redesign or redefine your vision statement, right? And because that we did before doing all the research. Now, after the research, what you will learn is that, yes, your vision statement is not working like what you have defined. I think I need to reiterate. I need to redefine that. And you do that in this stage. And also you try to redefine the problem statement. Like the problem statement that you got from the business or the stakeholder, that might be the different than what actually is the problem statement. Then in this case, after the research, you define the problem statement, you take it to the management, senior management and team, and then tell them like, yeah, so this was the brief that I got from you, but after my research, this is my finding, and brief that I got is not working anymore. Only 20-30% is working, or 70% is working, but 20% is not. We don't have the right understanding of what is the problem. So you refine the problem statement here of the product that you're working on, and then you also define the objective of like why you are creating that product. And that is basically the vision statement. Value proposition is like basically you have understood the competitors, and then you start defining what is the unique value proposition or unique selling point, unique features or business model that will distinguish you from the other players. And SWOT analysis we already did, and that really helps you in this process. And now once you have defined this vision strategy, you try to again do a lot of workshops and then redefine the roadmap. And you as a UX designer not always work on these things, but understanding is very important, because every time when you're working on a product, you will get a roadmap from the product team. So you need to understand, read that product map, and also keep the business roadmap also in mind when crafting the solutions. So business is basically how the business is planning to evolve and create, and what is vision. And product roadmap is basically what you will roll out in next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, and so on. So that is basically product roadmap. Now we'll come to the user side. So how do we understand user? How can we communicate with the team that who is the actual user? So we use different models, and these are basically, I'll talk about 3-4 here. So basically one is the persona, the other is the empathy map. Task analysis, I'll just give you a highlight about what is task analysis. User stories, I'll talk about all, but I will work on one is the empathy map first, then the second is the persona, and then I'll talk about the journey, user journey. So these 3 things we'll talk more in detail about in these sessions. And then we also do the analysis of like why is the user having problem, what is the actual problem, where is he having problem. So all the W's, 5 W's and 1 H, how is he using the product and those things. Okay. So we'll understand this. So first is understanding the empathy. So we'll understand this in detail. So what is empathy? Empathy is an efficient tool, and this is created by whom? By the designers for themselves, so that they are able to refer to it every time they have some confusion or doubt and understand like how does the user react to the product. So basically, an efficient tool used by designers to understand user behavior and visually communicate the findings to colleagues for a shared understanding of user needs. This is what we'll understand, and we'll understand in detail in the next session, not in this session. Little bit about this, like, so we'll understand about the empathy map, and the second is the persona. So persona is what? It's a fictional representation of the ideal user assembled from the behaviors and the motivation of the many actual users. It helps understand users, their needs, experience, behavior patterns, and goals. So here, how this helps? So empathy map helps everyone in the team understand like who are the user and what are the feelings, different feelings that the user goes through when using the product or when he's talking about the product. Basically, all the emotional stuff happening within him. Okay, and persona is basically a fictional representation. Now, suppose I interviewed 200 people. I surveyed around 300 people. So I can't work a great product for all this like 500 people, right? So I need to group those people into different groups depending upon different traits, right? We do that in the form of personas. So suppose during the research you figured out that there are 3 different kind of users: user 1, user 2, user 3. And then in order to represent those groups, you create these personas. So we'll try to understand these. I'll talk about this in the next sessions. Okay, so I'll talk about the empathy map in the next session. I'll talk about how to create the empathy map. I'll also talk about persona, so how to create the persona and how it helps, and then also different examples of personas. Okay, I'll stop here.